According to the map, this stream's called Old Wansford. It's really overgrown back there, and foggy too. It wouldn't surprise me if some undead ghouls suddenly started staggering about. Warm Hill Church, 800 years old and no spire. Very unusual. A fortified tower with battlements. That might have been more essential than a bell tower. This part looks like it's been pushed in. Wonder if it was a hearse driver with parking problems. This is where Miss Valley is buried, murdered by my cursed sister. Perhaps I should bring a few flowers the next time I visit. This is where Miss Valley... Ancient headstones. It looks like the design hasn't changed in hundreds of years. That's quite a recent grave. There are even a few flowers still lying on it. The wall has collapsed right in the middle without having a demolition ball taken to it. Takes a few hundred years for that kind of thing to happen. This certainly isn't a well-groomed graveyard. Most of the graves are overgrown with twining weeds and roots. Gravestones without names. That's the Gordon family crypt. The musty skeletons of my ancestors are just behind this door. I'm not interested in paying them a family visit. That's William Gordon's grave, our great-grandfather. He died in August 1981. No idea why he wasn't buried in the family crypt. Wow, the fence has really been battered. If we were in India, I would say it was a herd of elephants. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. Locked. That's probably the priest's house back there. There are some phrases from the Bible engraved in this. Behold the Lamb of God that taketh away the sin of the world, says John 1 verse 29. For to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain, says Philip, also 1 verse 21. For many are called, but few are chosen, Matthew, blah blah blah. The Lord is with me, I will not be afraid, Psalms 118 verse 6. Bare wooden pews. Very inviting. They really make you want to kneel down and pray. A huge stained glass window for optimum illumination. Who's that? That doesn't look like the priest. Hey, you there. Good morning.
What the? Oh, I'm sorry, lad. I must have nodded off.
In the confession box?
The bench has a cushion on it, at least.
You're not the priest, are you?
God forbid. I'm Mark, the grave digger.
Do you know Wormhill well?
Of course, but it's just a few houses on the back of the woods. There's more life in here, I tell you. Are you looking for something in particular?
No, I'm just trying to get an idea of the place.
Looking around this graveyard will give you a better idea of the place. And should you want to reserve yourself a spot here, then let me know. I recommend the southern slope. That's the best location.
Thanks for the tip, but I'm in no hurry to die just yet.
But maybe death's in a hurry to come and get you.
What is it you actually do all day?
Answer stupid questions.
I mean, digging graves can't be all you do.
Yeah, you're right, lad. I don't just dig. I repair things too, keep the church in order, guard the graves. And if you think that the weeds grow on their own around here, then think again. It ain't weeds, and it don't grow on its own. But who's interested anyway?
What did you mean by that? You guard the graves?
Well, because of the clientele. So they don't get dug up by dogs and the like.
Which dogs?
Well, strays from around here. For them, a graveyard is like
an underground hot dog stand?
Yeah, exactly. With bloody tough sausages.
You must have a lot to do around here, being the gravedigger.
Oh, that's right. My job here is quite secure.
Can you tell me anything about the church?
What do you mean then, lad? Who built it? It certainly wasn't me, even if I might look that old. Must have been around the time Marcus Gordon was alive. Have you seen the dark part of the tower up there?
Yes.
He ran out of stone, and they say he took stones from his castle walls to finish it off. Demolished his own castle to finish the church.
A model Christian.
Perhaps his time was running out. Got himself buried in there in the end.
A crypt that's 100 feet tall with an altar and a bell tower, all for him alone. What a modest man.
All those toffs are. No, he treated himself to an extra crypt underneath the nave. But it caved in 12 years ago. Nobody can get in there anymore.
It's quite a woody area.
That's also supposed to be the reason it's such a bloody area.
The evil of the woods? People around here read too many horror stories.
Or have experienced it themselves. Have you been in the woods here at night?
No.
They say there's plenty to see. Murderous lords of the castle, the undead, Mordred's voracious hellhounds. There are many stories about it. Probably as many stories as there are people here.
The woods around Willow Creek strike me as being particularly creepy.
Yes, and the number of wild boars in there is uncanny. I've known them to trample down my fences to get at the clientele. But I've got some crafty traps set up. I'm looking forward to having a roast. The priest gave his permission.
There's a fresh grave in front of the church.
That'll be Sally's, the young cook from the castle. The poor thing was burned to death, just like old Bates. The fire didn't really make any difference. But Bates isn't here. Lady Victoria insisted on burying him in the Golden Crypt, like a member of the family.
Just like Lady Eleanor, I assume.
Yes, there's still plenty of space in the crypt. Lots of the Gordons haven't been buried there.
Why not?
Well, there are just too many murderers and suicides. They're frowned upon in Catholic graveyards, particularly the ones who commit suicide.
Why? What happens to them?
Well, they're buried anonymously, without any religious ceremony, without the ringing of the bells, without any prayers, without a priest, nothing. They're all buried before sunrise, over by the north wall.
Isn't that what they used to do hundreds of years ago?
Perhaps where you come from. But we're in Warmill, the manor of Black Mirror Castle. Things are all a bit different around here, my lad.
You don't happen to know, being the gravedigger and all, where Samuel Gordon's grave is? He must have been buried in 1981.
That's a tough one, lad. So many people died here 12 years ago, good and evil alike, in the strangest of circumstances. I really can't remember who ended up where. You'd be better off talking to Father Frederick, the priest. Perhaps he can remember.
Where would I find the priest then?
Today? Well, you won't find him at all. He left around midday. Some conference or other. Supposed to be back by noon tomorrow, though.
I'd better be going.
Keep your eyes peeled, lad.
Oh, is it that late already? Those must be wild boars. There's supposed to be plenty of them around here. Or demonic hellhounds, as they say in the local fables. Whoa! I better get out of here fast if I don't want to get mauled. Before the storm, I think I better wait until those beasts have lost their appetite. Damn, don't say somebody lives here. Oh, that's better. I can see now. What the hell? A couple of luminous smiley stickers. Whoever lives here must be scared of the dark. An old bucket. Oh, I hope that isn't the toilet. A peculiar shadow. A file. The escape tool of choice, in the comics at least. The floorboards here sure creak loudly. A padlock of the really sturdy variety. It's fastened shut. I think I know where that mysterious shadow's coming from. Well, how about that? And so the key falls into my possession. Fits. As I thought, full of junk. So let's have a look. Damn! That looks like one of the robes and the masks from the order that was after me. But at the same time, it's also proof that the order existed. I'll take it with me. There's some paper in the robe. Seems to be a letter to the order. Quite badly torn. Unable to stop the evil, already sacrificed. His objective, or something happens to me. No trace is to be... I'm not completely certain, but it appears to be a request to cover up all traces of the order. That would explain why the robe is in the shack. I'll put it back. Perhaps I'll find something useful after all. A corkscrew and a yardstick. They look in reasonable shape. I'll take them. Whoa, a chainsaw. I've got a feeling that this baby's gonna come in handy. I'm guessing that's paint thinners or gasoline for cleaning stuff. Ugh, smells something like that at least. A rusty old garden implement. That almost looks the same as the shredder in the museum. There's something lying in it. It's soft, damp, and cold. Yuck. No thanks. I don't really want to know what's died in there. Gotcha. A cardboard box. Somebody scribbled something on the lid. I can't decipher it. The word definitely begins with an R, though. Let's take a look inside. A rag doll. Pretty ugly and worn out. I recognize him. I've seen it before. It was Ralph's. Yep, that's his doll. Mr. Bubby, or whatever he called it. Strange. How'd it get here? And why has Ralph left it? I mean, he never used to go anywhere without it. What else have we got? A luminous sticker with a smiley on it. And a cork from a bottle. This must be Ralph's shack. Or his hideaway. Alone in a shack in the woods, in the night, with a chainsaw in my hand. If my father could see me now, I'm sure he'd be so proud. Unlucky. Tank's empty. An old tin can. The smell would suggest there's gas in it. The tank's just about half full. Hopefully that'll be enough. I filled up the chainsaw, but the tank's lid is missing. I don't think it's a good idea to start it up as it is. All right, that ought to hold. Now we can get going. The rotten boards shouldn't be a problem for the saw, but I ought to check what's underneath them first. The floorboards here sure creak loudly. Another door. Let's see now. Was kinda obvious. There's storage behind it for logs. It stretches right to the door. There's no getting through here.